Hello, hello. Let me give you guys a view first before I get started. Beautiful day today. Nice. Okay, I have to start off by sharing a story with you guys that is pretty unbelievable. However, it is in fact a true story. This just happened yesterday. So I brought my camera over here to share the story with you so that I can reenact it a little bit. Okay, so yesterday, my husband was leaving and he was going to be gone for a while. So he had a key that I needed. And so since he was leaving, he said, I'm going to take the key and put it under a rock. No, I take that back. He said, I'm going to put it under 3 rocks next to a tree. I kid you not, guys. And so I get here and this is what it looked like. You see all those rocks? Yeah. Can you imagine coming to a place and seeing all those rocks and you're supposed to find the one that has 3 rocks with your key under it? I'm laughing today, but I wasn't laughing yesterday. So his phone died, so I couldn't call and get more specific instructions about where exactly the key was under which rock out of hundreds of rocks. And so it got me to thinking, because my first initial reaction was, my knee-jerk reaction is what I call it, was a little frustration, a little anger, because what I thought would take me, or definitely what he thought would take me just a couple of seconds to find, because you always have to know somebody's intention. It was his intention for me to just have pure agony and take hours to find a key? Absolutely not. His intention was that he was trying to quickly put it somewhere, get it out of the way so nobody else would grab it, but yet have it in a place where I could easily find it. And so his intention was for me to find it, not to hurt me, to help, not to hurt. I always know what someone's intention is, even though it may cause stress, cause frustration, cause little time lapse, but the intention was not to hurt or harm. So anyway, it did take me an hour to find this key. As a matter of fact, I tried to find it on my own at first, and then I went and grabbed my kids and had them come back and help me. And then people saw me looking and they came over and helped. So I ended up with like an army of people helping me to find this key. And an hour later, we found the key. So here's my point. My first reaction, my first emotion was an emotion of anger and frustration. And so then I did a Godversation. And if you don't know what Godversations are, something that I've coined, I came up with about 7 months ago, I believe. No, a little less than that, maybe 6 months ago. And I've been doing it religiously ever since because it's life-changing. So I have a whole podcast on the Godversation. So that's not what this is about. So I did a Godversation and I was basically asking, I was trying not to ask why, because sometimes you want to ask, why me? Why did this happen? What was the purpose of this? But really, the best question to ask is what? What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? What and how questions are best. And so I was expecting God to tell me something like, well, he should not have done that. He should have thought more. He should have thought more logically, even though he was in a hurry or whatever. But God actually made me point inwardly regarding the situation. And basically what came to me was, you are his help meet. Okay? I created you. You have this special title as his help meet, to help him, because I knew that men would need help. So I created the wonderful and spectacular woman to help man, because I knew that he would need help. And so therefore, your thoughts right now are so wrapped up on what you want to do and what you need to do and how much time you have left, that the last thing that you're thinking of right now is how much he needs your help. And so I was just like, whoa, God, you kind of hit me hard, like when I wasn't expecting you to hit me hard. But anyway, so that was a good nugget. And so what I got from that is I said, okay, so what can I learn from this? How can I improve as a wife? Because many times, and I talk to people who, I'm a holistic wellness practitioner. That means inner and outer, not just the body, but the mind and emotions and all that good stuff. And so I talk to people who sometimes they're having issues with their husband. And I know that they always tend to blame, and point the finger on what the other person is not doing. And so in my case, I did not want to do that. I wanted to say, okay, what can I do once, God made it clear to me that I have a choice in the matter. Because sometimes you feel helpless and sometimes you feel like, what am I supposed to do? How could I have helped the situation? I didn't have anything to do with the situation. And what came to me was pretty brilliant. And that is, I created something called the R3 Method Day Designer. And I'll show you all my copy here because this is kind of the hard copy. But you can also get the online copy for free at transpose.com. That's TRANSPOSE.com. And just look for R3 Method Day Designer. And so what he told me, if you look down here at my Day Designer, there's a section on here that says tasks, okay? So I could have written down a checklist. So when my husband goes to a meeting or if he's going to be gone away for a while and I'm giving him a checklist to find out some different things that I need to remind him of to help him. Now, what will happen when you do this, it will actually help in this area over here, which is the emotional guidance scale. And the emotional guidance scale is how you feel throughout the day at any given time. It's like your thermometer for a house to gauge the heat. This is gauging your emotions because based on your emotions will determine how you feel, and how you feel would determine what you attract into your life, positive or negative. So obviously you want your emotions to stay in the top 10 at all times. And so obviously when when the situation came up and I spent an hour searching for the key, where do you think I was? Probably down here with blame. Absolutely. Worry, discouraged, anger. Those are probably some of the emotions that I felt at the time. And just by changing one thing, because I'm going to give you 3 things that I can do and that you can do in a situation like that. So the first thing could be to actually add the task on here to do a checklist. What is that going to do? That little step that may take seconds to write down and seconds to ask him will put me up here. It's going to save me time and it's going to make me feel positive, optimistic, content. Why? Because now it's a situation where I am not a victim. I'm not a leaf blowing around in the wind with no control over my circumstances. I thought ahead and I did something that not only will help myself and save myself time, but it will save me peace of mind. So those are things that especially women, oh my goodness, one of the things that we experience more than anything right now is stress because we're doing so much. And so we want to do practical things and techniques to help decrease our stress at all times. The second solution would be that it would help if I were to just do that one act, would be to help me to connect more with my husband. Why? Because when you're helping your spouse, you're connecting more with them. It's almost a form of pampering or being supportive, and they feel that support, and that support encourages them, and that support helps them to be able to win in other areas of their life just by that one step. So ladies, when we do that, don't look at it like you're being a doormat. No, you're actually being a helper. You're actually serving in a way that pays back dividends. It pays back ways where now your husband thinks highly of you because he's like, man, I really need her in my life. Man, she really helps me. She thinks of things that I sometimes don't have time to think about. And it made me think about when I worked for a cardiologist. He was a specialty doctor. So he specialized in a specific thing, a specific part of the body. And therefore his research, his studies, his knowledge, and his practice revolved around some very specific techniques and procedures and knowledge that he had to practice on a regular basis. So I'll never forget when I used to work with him, sometimes I would be reminding him of things that I thought were pretty basic. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's a doctor. How come I'm reminding him about this? Or why should I have to constantly talk to him about this? He should know this already. He should expect this. This patient always comes in and has this problem. Why am I having to go in the chart and pull it out? And now I realize that he needed a helpmeet. That's what I was, as it relates to his assistant. I was helping him. But when it comes to your spouse, it's supposed to be the same exact way. So nobody's going to complain when you're doing it from a context of getting paid to, because that's your job. But now you have to know that your husband needs that same type of support and help. And then last but not least, what will happen when you do that, when you offer that support to your husband, is you will shift your perspective of him. We all perceive things based on our experiences. So the first thing that you were perceiving him to be is, when you were angry, and blaming him, you were perceiving him to maybe be a loser. You were perceiving him to be, what is it called? Oh my gosh, what is that term called? Can't even think about it right now. But basically, a moron? I don't know why that came to me. But no, these are things that are real though. And I know I'm speaking to somebody. So these are practical things. These are actual things that sometimes go through your mind because you're like, oh, he's an idiot. He did this and it's frustrating. And these are your emotions talking, and it's coming from a toxic place. But the bottom line is that's going to be your perspective of him. And so as your perspective continues to be, he's a loser, he's an idiot, he's a moron, how do you think that's going to fare up as it relates to your romance? How do you think that's going to fare as it relates to strengthening your relationship and having a marriage that lasts for years? It's not. You'll be in a marriage where it's subpar. You're not completely in bliss anymore. And so you don't want to ever have a perspective of your husband that he's a moron, a loser, or an idiot. And so if anything causes you to feel that way, you need to change it so that you can have a new perspective of him. And you can have a perspective that, you know what, he's a king, just like that doctor. He is really good at what he does and what he focuses on, and he needs me to build him up, and he needs me to think about some of those basic things for him so that he can continue to excel in what he does. You see the difference? And so then when you look at it and you change the perspective in that way, then it will cause you to have a relationship with him where you have respect and honor toward your husband, and you have more love towards him, and you can be more forgiving of some of the mistakes that he will make, because he will make mistakes. And keep in mind that there's some things that the husband is going to do for you as well, ladies. Don't just think that I'm talking to you about how you can be better wives and not saying that there's roles that he will play, that he should play in reciprocating and doing things for you that's out of his strength and his role as a husband. And that's why knowing what your roles are important. Having roles are important. They're not outdated or old-fashioned to have roles in your relationship. When you have roles in your relationship, all it does is, if you're the captain of the ship, then you're in charge of steering the ship. You're in charge of the direction. But your role is purposeful. Because if you have 21 people trying to tell you how to steer the ship, then you'll never reach your destination. So roles in every part and facet of life are important. So never ever think that roles means that one person's role is superior and another person's role is less than. No, it's not inferior at all. Everybody's role is significant, and it all leads to getting the job done well. All right. So guys, what is the takeaway from this? What is your mission assignment? Your mission assignment is to get the day designer. Create your day. Put things on your day designer that not only builds up your physical life, but also your mental and emotional life. So that's why I created a holistic day designer so that all parts of your life can work and complete each other as a whole. That is what's missing. Some people only focus on the physical aspects of their calendar, such as tasks and quote unquote notes and things to do, and they ignore the part that needs nourishing, such as your soul, your spirit, your emotions. All those things need to be taken care of, and that is why I designed the R3 Method Day Designer. So I hope you guys got something out of this. We're going to build up our husbands. We were created because they need us, and Lord knows they need us. And now I can laugh at the situation about finding a key under a rock, and we can also learn not to hide a key under a rock, because the only way that can work is if there's no other rocks around. But if there are hundreds like so, it might make the task a little challenging. So until next time, R34 Live. Bye.